Arks of Fire. The purpose of this presentation is to empower you to create an ark of fire, a refuge, a place of health and abundance. Imagine that with the sunrise and sunset, you join your voice with the song of the sun, co-creating your world into a chorus of beauty, health, and grace. This video can be used as a tool to empower individuals such as yourself to begin sharing the power of Agnihotra with your friends, tribe, village, or neighborhood. During this presentation, we will discuss what is Agnihotra, what is Arks of Fire Initiative. We'll present scientific proof of the power of Agnihotra to heal, and a model of how Agnihotra might work. In the process, you'll gain amazing insights about how nature organizes and heals itself. But although Agnihotra is simple to practice, it requires precision in both technique, materials, and timing. This presentation is not designed as a how to do Agnihotra. At the end of the video, references will be given to you to learn exactly how to do Agnihotra. Agnihotra is an ancient fire ceremony shown to improve the health of animals, plants, and humans. Doing Agnihotra decreases disease, removes harmful chemicals from the air, reduces radioactivity, improves physiological signs of human stress, and improves crop yields. The effective field is up to 200 acres. And although doing Agnihotra just once will have an immediate positive effect, regular practice provides cumulative benefits. Arks of Fire is a worldwide initiative spearheaded by the New Earth University. The aim of this initiative is to empower and encourage people to participate, creating many refuges around the earth, and using simple yet ancient technology called Agnihotra. The beauty of this project is the simplicity of the technique. Almost anyone can do this in the privacy of their own home for very little cost, and only minutes per day. We are sovereign spiritual beings, and with the power and wisdom of ancient knowledge, can take back our freedom and heal the planet and ourselves for generations to come, with or without the blessings of our political leaders. Robert Bagnall. So please don't hold your breath and wait for someone else to heal the earth. You are empowered by ancient technology to protect and enhance your own community. Agnihotra is so simple to perform that any child that is old enough to handle fire can do Agnihotra. Albert Einstein said, "When the solution is simple, God is answering." While a profound spiritual practice for many people, in reality, Agnihotra requires no religious belief or even spiritual belief to work. You can create a refuge that protects and enhances life. Using simple tools resurrected from an ancient body of knowledge, you can form a bioactive fractal electrical field. What is a bioactive field? This is an energy or electrical field that includes life-enhancing energies and sorts out and excludes life-harming energies and substances. How does the bioactive field know the difference between good and bad energies, so to speak? This is because energies and substances that support life have a unique signature that is required to join the club of life. We will talk about that more shortly. Just what is Agnihotra? Agnihotra is a small fire burned in an inverted copper pyramid. Cow dung is ignited, and ghee and rice are added at precise times related to sunrise and sunset. This can be performed by anyone in their own home, inside or out. At the same time, a resonant mantra is sung in Sanskrit. Agnihotra attracts, concentrates, and distributes bioenergy. Because the sun's rays must strike the pyramid at exactly 90 degrees, precise timing is critical to the second. Agnihotra is performed twice daily, once at sunrise and once at sunset. Timesheets based on your exact geographic location are available online, and they will be included in the reference section. The copper pyramid requires exact proportions. Again, the reference section will provide you with information on how to purchase a copper pyramid. Pyramids of certain dimensions act as resonant chambers or charge capacitors. The ancients knew the power of pyramids to attract, concentrate, and distribute bioenergy. If you turn the copper pyramid upside down, you will recognize the same proportions and stepped shape as these Mayan pyramids. Dried cow dung, ghee, and rice are biological materials which produce a plasma flame of profoundly biologic charge-dense material. When ignited, their plasma waveforms nest, resonate, and harmonize with the wave frequency from the sun, producing a broad spectrum bioactive field. The copper pyramid here contains the flaming dried cow dung, and on the right is the ghee in the copper pot with the copper spoon. It's important not to use any other type of metals. And on the left is the unpolished brown rice. The mantras that are intoned when doing Agnihotra are sung in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is pure resonance. According to NASA, Sanskrit is the best language for communicating with artificial intelligence. Certain resonances have an organizing principle. In the cymatics video clip that follows, this organizing principle will come to life. As fine sand is placed on the metal plate and attached to a speaker, the sand will organize, self-organize, into geometric shapes at certain frequencies. The shapes you will see are sacred geometries often found in old tiling and spiritual motifs. From the first book of the Bible, Old Testament, in the beginning there was the Word. This is something to ponder with regards to how matter is formed and organized. It should be noted that Agnihotra, ash, is very powerful and is often used combined with the fire ceremony in agriculture called Homa farming or Ayurvedic farming. It's used as a foliar spray and as soil amendment. Mixed with ghee, it's used as medicine. Agnihotra ash provides embodied bioenergy from the Agnihotra fire. Where does Agnihotra come from? Agnihotra means healing fire. The knowledge of Agnihotra comes from the Vedas, an ancient well of knowledge, including subjects such as cosmology, health, and spirituality. Ayurvedic medicine, for example, is derived from the Vedic tradition. It is said that if God created the world, he gave the Vedas as an operating manual. 6,000 years ago, science was not deemed to be separate from spirit. The power of unseen energies was acknowledged, studied, and utilized. Agnihotra has been scientifically shown to have beneficial effects on agriculture, soil and air quality, radioactivity, harmful chemicals, and human stress levels. There are literally scores of modern experiments and studies proving the effectiveness of Agnihotra in all these areas. Let's go over a few. First of all, the Peruvian government study. In 1999, the government of Peru endorsed a study of the effects of Agnihotra on 1,200 hectares of crops, including papaya, banana, coffee, and mango, and annual vegetables including tomatoes, corn, and sesame. The results were stunning, and the Peruvian government enthusiastically endorsed Agnihotra. The study confirmed increased crop yields. The fruit trees began production in earlier years than normal. Fungal disease and Pseudomonas were eradicated. And the fruit and vegetables even had better sensory qualities and increased size and weight. Here's a study on soil fertility in Agnihotra. In July 2015, the International Journal of Science, Engineering and Technology published a study comparing soil mixed with Agnihotra ash to non-treated soil. They found changes in the numbers of soil microbes, but not just in one direction. Amazingly, beneficial microbes were increased, while harmful bacteria and fungi were reduced in number. They also found phosphorus solubilizing bacteria to multiply, which would decrease the need for superphosphate. Superphosphate, it should be noted, is not an environmentally friendly process. In another interesting soil fertility study, Dr. Ming Lai confirmed in his study the increase in water-soluble phosphate. He produced two types of ash. One was Agnihotra produced at the proper timing. The other was produced in the same vessel and materials, but at incorrect timing. Then he mixed the two types of ash into soil and tested the two different types of soil for water-soluble phosphate. Agnihotra ash contained 4 times more soluble phosphate than the non-Agnihotra ash soil mixture. All growing plants need phosphorus. However, regardless of how much phosphorus is added to the soil, only the water-soluble portion can be used by the plant. Now, in 1984, the worst chemical leak in modern history occurred at the Union Carbide plant in Bhopal, India. Cyanide gas leaked, killing and injuring tens of thousands of people. Agnihotra was famously known to have protected those who practiced regularly, and their neighbors were likewise uninjured. These testimonials have recently been supported by a study completed just 2 months ago, which confirms that Agnihotra does affect chemical concentrations in the air. In March 2016, North Maharashtra University studied the air quality after only one Agnihotra session. 15 hours after Agnihotra was performed, respirable suspended particulate matter was reduced by 50% as compared to control. Sulfur dioxides and nitrogen dioxides were also reduced. Many studies have confirmed the bacteriostatic effects of Agnihotra. Here's one of the most interesting ones to me. Microbiologist Dr. A.D. Mankar placed 4 blood agar plates in each of 2 rooms at the 4 corners of the rooms. In one room, Agnihotra was performed. In the other, the same fire was made, but not at the correct Agnihotra timing. After 2 hours, he tested the plates for microorganisms and found a 92% reduction in the Agnihotra plates. He then ID'd the microorganisms and found that the greatest reduction was in pathogenic bacteria, the kind that cause disease. Robert Bagnall was instrumental in starting the Arks of Fire initiative. He says, "I think the most important role for Agnihotra in the future will be as an antidote to many of the new diseases that modern medicine hasn't a clue how to treat." Perhaps the most compelling and controversial effect of Agnihotra is that on radioactivity. Following the Chernobyl nuclear disaster in the Ukraine in the 1980s, the milk on Agnihotra farms was the only milk that was not contaminated when tested by authorities. This was documented as far away as Austria. This was well known and studied by the Russians. Unfortunately, much of the documentation was lost in the ensuing breakup of the Soviet Union. However, recent studies have confirmed the power of Agnihotra ash to decontaminate food. In a study by the Physics Institute Academy of Science in Kiev, Ukraine, radioactive Fukushima rice was placed in Agnihotra ash and water. After 3 days, the radioactivity dropped. By day 10, only background radioactivity was detected. Agnihotra ash had decontaminated the rice. It's important to note that we don't know how Agnihotra works, we just know that it does work. But the following scientific mechanism is this presenter's humble interpretation of the explanation described by Dan Winter in his book Fractal Conjugate Space and Time and his voluminous lectures online. It is important to have this scientific working model as long as it is consistent with the evidence for the mechanism of action of Agnihotra. This is a breakthrough and will allow Agnihotra to become more of an accepted practice, and thanks to the quantum biological information given by Dan Winter and others. Dan is an electrical engineer, a pioneer of biofeedback, a brilliant inventor, and a spiritual adept. His websites contain hundreds of fascinating videos and lectures. They are fractalfield.com and goldenmean.com. This is a recent book, Fractal Conjugate Space and Time, Cause of Negentropy, Gravity, and Perception. Dan brings the new science to the study of biology. Thank you, Dan. And here's a quote from Dan Winter. Pure principle, knowing how it works, that's really empowering. Now let's get back to just how does Agnihotra do its magic. Bioenergy is also known as chi, prana, or simply charge. Bioenergy explains what makes one thing alive and another not alive. Bioenergy is electrical, although it is not found on the electromagnetic spectrum. It does move in waveforms, and it carries information. Nikola Tesla and Wilhelm Reich, among many others, studied and utilized bioenergy in the 1900s. Both were famously not encouraged, to say the least. You can think of bioenergy as an aura that is a scaffolding for the physical form. Kirlian photography is a way to indirectly visualize bioenergy. Here are two mushrooms, the one on the left grown organically and on the right with commercial chemicals. The one on the left seems to have more bioenergy. It has been said that life is the ability to attract bioenergy or charge. Bioenergy can be attracted and concentrated by certain forms and materials. Certain materials make better seed pots than others and germinate seeds better. Why is that? There is a massive accumulation of bioenergy in the pyramid fire of Agnihotra. This means more seed germination, more health, more crop yield, etc. The question is, how does this bioenergy get organized and distributed to the surrounding land, atmosphere, and all life in the area? Allow me to introduce a new term, implosion. Implosion is the process of drawing in, self-organizing, and distributing bioenergy. Agnihotra uses the perfect materials, timing, fire, and sun power to cause massive implosion. How can science explain the seemingly magical ability of Agnihotra to neutralize radioactivity? Here's a couple more new terms. You probably have heard of entropy defined as moving towards disorder, but maybe you haven't heard of the opposing principle, negentropy, or moving towards order. Negentropy is biology's self-organizing principle that's missing in the textbooks. Implosion is the process. Implosion brings order to all living things. I would like to explain implosion by comparing it to explosion. Explosion is a familiar phenomenon to everyone. Matter is dispersed. Heat is produced and lost. Energy is given off. This is an entropic or disorganizing event. Fission is perhaps the most dangerous and disorganizing type of explosion. On the other hand, implosion is a situation where matter is concentrated and organized. There's a cooling effect. You may have heard of cold fusion. Energy is sucked in from the surroundings. This is a negentropic or organizing event. Here are some images from Dan Winter depicting energy waves meeting and entering into implosion, also known as non-destructive compression, and self-organization. Perhaps we can begin to visualize how the self-organizing electrical field produced by Agnihotra works to cancel radioactivity. Agnihotra appears to create an implosive electrical field, counteracting the radioactivity in that field. Earlier, we spoke about the key to the club of life required to enter or exist within the bioactive field. Remember, we defined bioactive field as including life-enhancing waves and materials, and excluding and sorting out harmful waveforms and therefore materials. It's sort of like having a membership card to the polo club to get onto the polo field. That key or card is golden ratio. Golden ratio, also called phi, is present in the form of every living system, from the galaxy to subatomic particles. It is the ratio of 1 to 1.618, on to infinity. In this line, there is only one spot where the ratio of the length of the whole line to the larger part is the same as the ratio of the larger part to the smaller part. If you meditate on this long enough, you may see why this is the only way implosion can happen as non-destructive collapse. Golden ratio is the essence of harmony, order, balance, and beauty in all of nature. The golden ratio is necessary for the folded in on itselfness that happens in creating an implosive charge field. All the elements of the components of Agnihotra are golden ratio, from the subatomic level of the dung and ghee to the geometry of the copper vessel and the pressure wave from the sun. It has been theorized that substances and situations producing energy fields that are not resonant with golden ratio based energy field, which is generated by Agnihotra, are excluded or transmuted by the powerful bioactive Agnihotra electrical field. So in review, Agnihotra uses implosion, and that is what makes the magic in Agnihotra. Golden ratio makes implosion non-destructively possible. Golden ratio is the key to the bioactive field created by Agnihotra. Now we can use spiritual tradition in a new, more self-empowered way. Dan Winter. Thank you for becoming part of the Arks of Fire community. Please use these references for learning more about Arks of Fire and Agnihotra, including how-to videos, downloading of timesheets for your geographical location, and purchasing the necessary supplies. If you are new to Agnihotra, I suggest you take 10 minutes per day and practice Agnihotra for several weeks to a month, and then reflect on the subtle but powerful changes in your life. If you are currently an Agnihotra practitioner, please use this video as a tool to help you share and become a partner of the Agnihotra and Arks of Fire movement.